What's up, brother?
What's up, bro? Good to see you, man.
It's good to see you,
It's been
man.
a while. Glad to have you here. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've always wanted to pick your brain, and obviously there's a lot of businesses that do social media, but a lot of businesses do it wrong. You know, you've got like years and years under your belt working with Culture Kings and obviously establishing yourself. Tell me about your journey with Culture Kings.
Okay, all right. So when I was 15, Simon Beard had started the company with Tani, and they needed like a cheap kid to pick hats off the shelf and serve customers. I had the job at City Beach like that Saturday. I had my first Foot Locker interview went like successful, so I was just about organizing my next thing. And then I walked past in this Culture Kings thing, and I just had a couple of hats there, and then I said to the guy, and I was like, oh, hey, you know, you guys looking for someone? This is actually pretty cool, because I was playing like, you know, some really cool music. And then I get this call from this lady who turns out to be Tani while I'm at school in the middle of like an exam. I didn't answer. She messages me and she's like, oh, hey, I take it you're at school. Do you want to come trial like after school today? I was like, fuck it, all right, let's do it. So I went there, trialed, had so much fun. I told City Beach, I told them, oh, I've actually got a job at City Beach. And like, they were like, yo, don't go, trust me, this is gonna be epic. And I was like, all right. So I trusted that. So that was 2009. I was 15.
Crazy, because I used to work at City Beach as well. It was like one of my first
No
jobs.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Entry. So I said no to Foot Locker, no to City Beach. I worked there 09. And then I think I was like maybe 6 years in store as like a staff. I was doing like sales training at the same time. But it was such a small company back then. Everyone had like, you know, different roles. And I'm pretty sure we didn't even have like legal hours proper back then. You know, we were working like 12-hour shifts on like Fridays and stuff. Simon said, you can do whatever you want in the company, like what is it? And at the time in school I was doing law, and I was like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. And he was like, if you want to be a lawyer, you're going to be rich when you're like 50. And I was like, oh, that sounds awful. So I was like, okay. Yeah. So, but I was making like videos and stuff, you know, Snapchat back in the day, like it was coming, Instagram, I was like really into it just as like a young teenager was. And then I was good at selling, and marketing really, he told me, you know, marketing is like throwing something in the air and having everyone look at it. And I was like, I like that. And the same principles of selling, you take that into marketing, and, you know, about how to grab attention, and, you know, using bottle enthusiasm and telling a story. Like, telling a story is, you know, when you're selling on the floor, and you actually want to do that in marketing as well, to attach that emotion to that product. So that I already had a knack, and I was good for it, and I went into marketing, and my angle being social media, that was something that I had that I think the rest of the team, this small marketing team, didn't have. So that's fell into that role, and that was like nearly 10 years ago now. So and ever since then, I've been the social media guy at Culture Kings. So yeah, that's how I got there.
It's crazy, because I remember like I finished working at City Beach, and I always used to shop at Culture Kings, and I'd see you, one of the OGs there. Yeah. And then before you know it, a couple years later, I'm working at Culture Kings with you, which was crazy for me. I'm like, damn, this is like one of the first Culture Kings employees. Yeah. And then we were like co-workers for a few years. And then I think you moved on to the office before I did. And then I think like a year later, I moved into the assistant buyer role. Yeah. Actually, I think I went to the warehouse.
Which was so cool to see you there. Yeah, that was crazy. A cool moment. I was like, oh, Demo's in the HQ. Yeah, what's up?
It was wild, man. It was crazy, like just seeing Simon at work and seeing you at work in the social team. And then I was on the buying side. So it was like, sort of we had to work together, because we'd bring in the product. You know, we'd talk to the suppliers, bring in the product, and then we'd have to give it to you guys, and you guys marketed the product. So it was a very close relationship with marketing / social media.
And what I think worked so well at that age of where Culture Kings was then, when Simon was very much on board, Simon and Tani were very much on board. He would spend his whole day going from team to team. Yeah. Like, he'd spend half an hour with the marketing team and production, and then he'd spend half an hour with the buying team. But all of that, he was just keeping that circle really tight.
Yeah.
So, and he just used to yell out of nowhere like, "Oh, we're buying this." So,
man,
you know,
he was
like,
wild.
yeah,
man, he was so inspirational. I mean, he was the boss, but he'd just be always on, man. Like, you'd feel bad if you weren't like as switched on as he was.
I think him and Tiny built a culture where you were okay to fail if you're trying your hardest.
Yeah.
You know? And building something like that, like I was never like worried about losing my job if I didn't hit a target, or I was more worried about losing my job if I didn't be the best I wanted to be that day. You know? Actually, yeah, maybe that sounds awful. You'd want to be like, on top of your game, and that actually feels awesome.
Yeah.
When you're on top of your game with
But you loved it. That's another thing. Like, you loved what you did. You know, some people go to work and, you know, they don't really love what they do. But I feel like if someone was to think of Culture Kings, you embodied that. And I feel like you translated that into the social media. You know, you go a couple years ago, even now, like you go to Culture Kings social media, like you guys are still the top of the retail game when it comes to social media and content.
There's been a lot of phases that we've had to work through, because at the same time, like, you know, we've used social media for a lot of different outcomes. And one thing that I say to people when they ask about like, you know, where do I get started and whatnot, it's like, okay, what's your outcome? There might be to sell, okay, so you just want to have your products to just sell it, or is it like you just want to build a community? Culture Kings has had different outcomes for our social media, so we've had to adjust every couple of years, and I'd say now is probably the most, we're at a stage where we're learning to get good at campaign level and have an omni-channel that aligns with the whole brand of marketing, all the pillars of marketing that we're trying to tell at the same time, and be able to tell the story. If you were to go back like 2-3 years ago, our whole outcome was just we want to get as much reach and engagement as possible. So we're doing things that had nothing to do with what the website we're pushing. You know, we just gone out for reach and reach. Now we're trying to, you know, bring the two together, which I think is a good balance of both. Trying content that resonates with people, looks engaging, but at the same time can sell a product and tell a story.
Like, is there one post you did or a campaign you ran for Culture Kings, and till this day you're like punching the wall? You're like, damn, it didn't go as well as you planned.
In every single campaign, I feel that.
Every single campaign?
Yeah, bro. There's things that don't pop, and you're like, oh man, this is the perfect hook, perfect like recipe for what could reach 100,000 people with this one clip, but it's reached like 2,500. But then there's been the total opposite where it's like, no way that's gonna work. Boom, it's like 500.
It's always the unexpected, you know? Sometimes, isn't it?
You do it all the right steps, you prepare for the right opportunity. That's why they say like luck is opportunity and preparation being at the same time. I'll say this, like with every time I go, oh man, why didn't that work? Take a learning from that and apply it into your next one.
That's the most important thing. I feel like sometimes you just gotta keep the ball rolling. And unfortunately, I feel like people get discouraged, especially with social media. It's one of those things where I don't want to say you throw crap at a wall, but sometimes you just got to keep pumping out the content. You might have high hopes for this piece of content, and it might not deliver, but people stop.
It's the type of content, but I think it's the consistency that gets you good at figuring out what that content is.
Yeah, I'd say that as well.
Content that used to work for us, you know, 2-3 years ago doesn't work for us now. Content that works for us now wouldn't see the light of day back, you know, 2-3 years ago, even 6 months ago sometimes.
Content is key. So what would you say, though, is an unpopular opinion about content marketing that you embrace?
There's a stigma with pro-polished content not having the same effect as something shot on an iPhone. I agree and disagree. I think because you'll find if it looks like an ad, it's gonna. We're so trained to know what ads look like. We don't want to.
We get too many ads every day.
Exactly. At some point, iPhones and camera, we're not going to be able to tell the difference. High quality visuals are going to be high quality visuals. If you have an awesome hook rate on your if you have an awesome hook on your content and it's visually, you know, appealing, where you want to keep stop the scroll, then your content's going to go good, whether it's shot on an iPhone or a DSLR. And I think that's something that's been talking, throw away all the pro cameras, we don't need them, everything use iPhone. At some point, they're going to be like the same. Like the new iPhone,
getting there, man.
The new iPhone, like, they look fantastic. Like, I'm sure you could shoot this whole podcast on an iPhone.
we probably could.
No offense, bro. Like, videographers get mad. Like, a popular or unpopular opinion is do followers matter? For me, I believe, like, I don't think so.
You don't think followers matter?
Because I, on my XBL account, have 900 followers, and we can reach 1 million people in the span of like 3 months through our content.
Wow.
Yeah, well, content's hitting like 40,000 views on this, 20,000 on that. Boom, boom. We're gonna, I've had a video that's hit 300,000 people.
Wow.
With 900 followers.
900 followers. So and followers doesn't matter as long as you're getting those impressions.
Content, because Instagram and TikTok, they're just tailored to reach people that are into that content.
Who would you say is, or what would you say is one brand that's killing it on social media?
Duolingo on TikTok, they're one of my favorites. They're on trend. Gymshark have always been killing it too. I think their influencer game, how they bring influencers into their content plan is pretty cool. And it's very highly engaging on their TikTok. For Instagram, personal brands, the people that have their own brand, but are in front of the camera for it. Like they're not hiding behind the brand shield. They are the brand.
Yeah, personal brands essentially.
Yeah.
Because there's so many trends. Like you go right now on TikTok, trending. Same with the Reels. You can go trending, and there's just so many.
Yeah, there's a good one. Okay, so I think for XBL and Culture Kings, I give two different answers. Culture Kings can be very limited because you can't use other people's IP, meaning you can't use someone else's sound that you don't own. Culture Kings don't own the sound to the 6/7 song, so you can't be saying they're using the 6/7. We got to do it in another creative angle. That's not using that. So a trend for Culture Kings to jump on has to be like we jumped on the 6/7 but found another angle. That's the way around it. No trending audio, using other people's IP. XBL, anything and everything, because that's what we did early days of Culture Kings, and we're not as big as Culture Kings, of course, with 900 followers on Instagram and 600 on TikTok. That's why I'd say XBL can jump on stuff like that to be that fun trend, show that. But I would only pick trends that our audience are watching. Yeah. That is in our demographic, because what's trending for the 16-year-old girl wouldn't be trending, wouldn't be on my For You page as a 31-year-old husband. It's most of the time it's not the same stuff. The algorithms now are being so tailored that what I'm seeing might not be what you're seeing.
What was the most viral post in Culture Kings history, and why do you think it went off?
Maybe even nearly 2 years ago. Time's been working so fast. Where it's about how we hit 1 million followers on TikTok. Brought us over 90,000 new followers.
Wow.
In the span of like 3 months. It was ridiculous. And it had the right hook. It had the rule of 3. It had a storyline with momentum, a climax, and a call to action. It had all the right sources. When we try to remake this still to this day, that had over 50 million views.
Wow.
We ended up at the same time putting money behind it because it was getting us so much new followers and reach. And that was, I could at some point, if you ever wanted to, I could put the video up and show each piece as to why it was done like that. This one in particular is, guess how many followers Culture Kings has. And we played the rule of 3 and the third one you get right. So 2 wrong at the first, and then the third one you get right.
Yeah, right.
In a span of
How does that rule of 3 work? Like, what is that?
Oh, you say it's people take in threes, 6. I don't know the other one, but it's just like if you're going to do something, do it on the third one or the 6th one.
What does that mean?
So it's like if you're going to do in this video where it was like with a microphone in their face, how many followers do Coachings has? 6, 2,000, wrong. How many followers do Coachings have? Ding, that is more accepted.
So that's the rule of 3.
Yeah.
So you hook them first, and then the second time.
First 2 wrong, and then the last one ding.
Gotcha.
Okay. You don't. If you were to do it at 5, that's almost a little bit too
long.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
if you do
it that medium.
If you do it at 1 and then the next one's right, it feels a little bit too short. So that's at 3 they say is a good number for that. So it featured that, and then having do you follow Coachings, like that was going to be a reward if they were. Now that whole feeling of like, oh, why I should follow Coachings, when they're watching that video, obviously resonated because that video brought us in so much followers.
Yeah.
So and then throughout that video was storytelling on why we got to 1 million. Because of all the cool in-store appearances that we've had, because all the cool content that we've done, and all the cool giveaways that we've given away. We gave away a Lamborghini once, you know, Culture Kings did. So, and then that was the reward at the end was, you know, keep following us as we go to 2 million. So, yeah, we've tried to replicate this video multiple times. It had like a really cool Drake song that was in the background of it. This is before the IP, when we could use any music we wanted to. But yeah, that was the most viral video. Seeing 50 million plus was pretty epic. 6 years ago, maybe we had our first million video, and it was like, oh my God, we did it. and now we have a million video like once or twice a month or something, and it feels pretty cool.
How does AI affect someone like you being a social media strategist and content creator?
The softwares of AI are here to actually help us get results quicker, do our analytics quicker to see our insights and pull what we need from them to make the learnings. Creativity, how awesome is that? We can have this conversation now, film it, and then give it to an AI software to have a car just burst through the door in the first 6, within 2 seconds. I get out the car door and I sit here and we have this conversation.
Literally.
You know, that could be like one of your videos, and that first with the car breaking in, that's such like a visual, like, oh my gosh. So there's so much like creativity that can come out of this AI. I know it's so funny now, like all I've been seeing is the Queen with like a lightsaber and running the Olympics and stuff like that. So it's crazy like what people are doing with it. But no, I think it's awesome because we are a big company. We can't afford to slip up and use someone else's IP.
Of course.
You can't, you got to be careful about where our company's data is with a lot of the AI software. Me, how I use it day to day, spell checker for one, that helps. But
you just use Grammarly, right?
That's AI.
Yeah, I mean they've expanded AI, but they've been around for a while before AI.
Yeah, and I think a good way to analyze other people's social media as well. So when doing competitor analysis, jump on their Instagram and put that link into this AI software, and it'll give me their whole breakdown of how often they post, their color palette that they use, the demographics that they talk to, and that type of insight helps me when I'm trying to see how they tell storytell through their social media platform.